Well guys, I'm in here today checking on a couple trail cameras, as well as checking on a food plot that I put in about 3.5 weeks ago. Right now, I've got some soybeans, red top turnip, as well as rape in the plot, so everything seems to be coming up pretty well. As long as we continue to have some rain here for the next month or so, as a season opener, we should have a decent crop. I know the soybeans are putting a little late, but I'm hoping those young plants, the deer will just eat the tops off just to kind of keep them in here for the time being. Also behind me you can see we've got some standing corn, and that actually is doing pretty well, so as long as we don't bugger this up too much being in here, I have a tendency to believe that we're going to have some decent deer around. There's areas on the food plot that are just completely torn up right now, so down to almost the bare dirt, so I know that the deer are in there. And I do have 2 decent bucks around here that I would potentially consider shooting this year. I've got one 9-pointer that looks like between a 2.5 and 3.5-year-old. He's got a decent sized rack, but he's not that wide. I do have a decent 10-pointer in the area that I would consider as well. So just because they're not on camera though doesn't mean I don't have different bucks around, so we'll see what happens. We've got about 30 days till season opener, so right now I'm actually going to release a video from 2015 of an 8-pointer that I shot on this piece of property. So comment guys, let me know what you think, and enjoy.
I had finally done it. I had accomplished what I set out to do. After all the hours on the stand and all the hard work set forward, I had finally connected with a nice deer. The highs and lows of bow hunting will vary from hunter to hunter. But for me, when I'm on a high, I'm on the top of the world.
Heck yeah, I'm happy with him.
But at times of a low, it seems like you're never going to come back from it. You replay that shot over in your head, time and time again. What could I have done differently? What should I have done differently? At this point, it becomes more of a mental game than actually being physical. It's not, can I do it? It's, will another shot present itself? And if it does, can I make it count? You start to question yourself as a hunter and your capabilities. And sometimes it's hard to come back from that.
It's 6:45. The season opened at 6:25. It's been open for 20 minutes. In all reality, it's overcast today. I've only had shooting light for maybe 5-10 minutes. Just doing a couple buck grunts in here. Got out the bleak call. No more than 10-15 seconds later, I saw a body of a deer coming. I didn't even have enough camera light really to shoot. I ended up getting my bow down. He came through here. I'll show you in a second. Drew back and I shot. He bucked. His feet kicked back, kind of tore down through here. So I didn't hear him crash. However, it's really windy today. I'm really confident I got a really good hit on him. I'm sorry I didn't get him on camera. I tried. And it's just an awesome morning, so.
I went from an extreme high to one of my lowest lows on that day. I had found my air within about 25 yards with good blood, only to track the animal approximately 1.5 miles without finding any beds, and then to be denied access to a piece of private land where I believe the deer is bedding. Sometimes it doesn't mean that you're not pushing hard enough. You just don't have the capability of actually recovering an animal. I'd like to think in my mind that that deer is okay, but with any hit animal it's so hard to tell. I had pushed on into 2014 and yet had a similar situation happen, where I'd wounded a deer, hitting the deer forward, and yet was unable to recover the animal. Unfortunately, this is part of hunting. It's not always a guarantee. But you do owe the respect to the animal to practice harder, to learn from your mistakes, to take your time, and to push through.
It's October 28th. It's about 4:20, 4:30 in the afternoon. Just got in the stand. Wind was supposed to be out of the northwest tonight, which was not a good wind for this direction, but when I got out of the truck, it was more coming from the southwest, so I took a chance to sit down on this bottom, and happily surprised, the wind's not really blowing much at all down here. Right now it's blowing a little bit to the southwest, so it should be a good setup. We've got a deer bedding area to the east, and these bucks have been kind of traveling back and forth through this bottom and coming up at night, checking the fields and stuff, so I'm hoping we catch a big boy off guard. I've got about 4 shooters that I'd be taking tonight, so as long as one of them come by, or a big old doe, we're gonna see if we can let the wind out of one of them, so stick with it, should be a good set.
As the sun set below the horizon, I noticed a doe working her way towards me. At this time, I still had a doe tag in my pocket, so I positioned myself for a potential shot. The thought never crossed my mind that there may be another deer in the area. As the buck pushed off her doe, she ended up running directly below my stand. I attempted to swing the camera around with bow in hand, but she spotted me in the process. The buck didn't realize it and came north of her on the ridge as I pulled back to shoot.
Alright. Okay. Alright, I gotta get down. It's about 15, 20 minutes. I was watching this little buck and doe came in and a big buck was following her. I think I hit him a little bit back, but I think I Just got back down in here. And you can see the stand up in here. He was right down over here in this vicinity somewhere. And unfortunately, I can't find any blood as of right now. So, what we're gonna hopefully do is, I almost got in here a little too early. I guess I was a little overzealous, but I've already kicked up a couple different deer in here, just kind of coming through, so the rut is on, and we got a buck down, so we really need to go kind of find him here. Right now, I'm trying to get my bearings of where we were at, but after I shot, he kind of dropped down, went back across, so I'm gonna search this whole top here quick, see if I find any blood, and if I can find some, we'll start moving that way, but if not, gonna kind of pan down that way, so I'll stick with this, see what happens. Hope for the best, because this is one that I need, not that I want. I really need this. It's been a rough year, and I've had a couple of rough years hunting. This one would really boost my confidence, even if I know it wasn't the greatest shot. So he stepped forward when I shot and hit him a little back, so we'll see where we're at. So stick with it, see what happens. Well, I came out this morning. I wasn't very optimistic. I didn't find any blood. Could have swore I hit the buck back. Our property is boarded up to a piece of state, and kind of came out in this pinch point walking down. And here's my buck. He is actually laying in the creek. He died here last night. That is my first kill in 3 years with the bow. Big buck down. I'm stoked. So, man, you know, I didn't get the shot on film, and woulda, coulda, did all these things. Regardless of what happened, this is the outcome right here in the creek. And good thing is, he's been in the creek all night. It's ice cold in the creek. He's cooled down. I think right now it's like 38, 39. So I'm gonna get a tag in this big boy. I'll come up and I'll give you a little interview. We'll get him all cleaned up here, get him tagged, get him legal, and then we'll get him on out of here. So I'm just stoked. Hey, thanks for being with us, guys. This is what it's all about. He's legal now. Got him all tagged up, cleaned up out of the river bottom. You know, the nice thing, obviously, as you can kind of tell, he died in the river, so he's nice and cool, well kept. I ended up hitting him back a little bit right about here, came in right at the base of his ribs, and it came out, you know, kind of by his shoulders. Wasn't a complete pass through, but he's definitely a nice buck. You know, the kill zone max did his job last night. Pretty sure that he was probably dead within 35-40 seconds. So extremely happy with the broadheads, and I can't be any happier with this buck. He ended up coming in on a doe last night. I was videoing a 6-pointer, and the doe ended up coming up out of the marsh kind of while I was watching this buck, and I didn't know this buck was actually with the doe, and so I kind of had the video on her and the buck, and at one point this buck actually came in kind of to face off of that 6-pointer, not really close. He was probably 10-15 yards away, and I didn't even realize I had him in film at this point, but then I saw there was another deer, so kind of shifted the camera towards him, and he was rutting. I didn't have a chance to swing the camera around, but he came up about 20 yards north of her, up on that ridge, and was a little bit quartering away. He was just at a really slow pace, kind of stopped. When I shot, he must have started to move forward a little bit, because I did hit him a little bit back, but I felt good about the shot. I knew I hit him, and I knew he was going to be a dead deer, so I let him lay last night. It wasn't supposed to rain, but when I got down here, there wasn't any blood to find. The entire ground was wet just about everywhere.
I mean, I didn't find a spot of blood, so I was really kind of nervous that I wasn't going to locate this deer. And I ended up going back, and I kind of just started panning the marsh bottom, and luckily the first little pinch that I went off of, I saw this brown thing in the creek, and there it was laying up, and I could see his rack sticking up 8-9 inches out of the water. So I'm so stoked about this deer. I've had a really rough last 3 years. 2 years ago I hit just a monster of a deer, bigger than this guy, but I ended up hitting him high, kind of in the no man land zone up there, and I never found that deer. He ran, we tracked him for about 1.5 miles, never found him. Last year I ended up hitting one and tracked him again for a couple 2 miles, and I'm pretty sure I hit that one a little forward, but again, no luck there. So this year, this deer right here was very much needed. I'm extremely happy with him. He's my biggest buck to date with the bow, and I couldn't be happier. So